With a win yesterday in Beantown, the White Sox prevented two things. First, a series sweep by the Red Sox, and second, losing the top spot in the Central Division. Now Ozzy's crew will try and prevent Cleveland's Cliff Lee from becoming the first 20-game winner this season. Because with an 8-0 record in his last 9 starts, Lee has been dealing. But tonight he'll have to work against one of the league's best offenses. It's a Labor Day edition of White Sox baseball, and it's next. We are coming to you from Progressive Field in Cleveland, Ohio, where tonight Comcast SportsNet presents White Sox baseball. As Carlos Quentin, Jermaine Dye, Jim Thome and the Sox as they get set to butt heads with Grady Sizemore, Johnny Peralta, and the Cleveland Indians. Hi, everybody, and welcome. With DJ Darren Jackson, I'm Ken Harrell. Since we get set to bring you the first of this big 3-game set. They're all big from now on. We got 26 games remaining, counting the one tonight. So the Sox come out of Boston winning a big game yesterday by a score of 4-2. And it was Gavin Floyd. You know, we've said before, the most consistent pitcher we have had all season long has been Johnny Danks. But the guy who has won the most games and the biggest games for us has been Gavin Floyd, and he did it once again yesterday. So the Sox come in at 77-59. They're 18 games over, half game in front of Minnesota, where the Twins are in Toronto with an off day today. And tonight for us, running a rookie out to the bump.
Clayton Richard, you know, he started things out pretty tough at the big league level. His first 3 starts, he was overthrowing quite a bit. Not the same pitcher that he was down in the minor leagues. Well, in his last 2 starts, he's been outstanding. Why? Because he's pitching now. He is not throwing. He's got the speed down to where he was successful in the minor leagues, around 88 consistently throughout the game. Good movement on the fastball, his changeup, and his breaking ball are all there for him now, and he reaches back when he needs to. So he's coming off of a couple straight wins where he beat the Mariners and he beat the Orioles, going 6 innings, and he's only allowed 3 runs over those 2 outings, so he's looking good right now. Of course, he is going against Cliff Lee, the front runner for the Cy Young this year. He's going for his 20th win. The last time the Indians had a 20-game winner was Gaylord Perry back in 1974. Cliff Lee is good. He throws strike 1, strike 2 more often than any other pitcher in the American League. At least we've got to be ready to hit early in the account tonight.
All right, sit back, relax, and strap it down. White Sox baseball coming your way.
White Sox baseball on Comcast SportsNet is brought to you in part by Chevy. Want to win World Series tickets? Text SOX to 28546 for your chance to win, courtesy of Chevy. Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Cadillac. Life, liberty, and the pursuit. Midas. For brakes, oil changes, tires, and more, trust the Midas touch. At Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois, we want to give you the security to experience wellness everywhere. And by Southwest Airlines. With Southwest Airlines, you're now free to be more productive. Visit southwest.com today.
And welcome back to Progressive Field in Cleveland, Ohio, where it's time right now to go ahead and show you the skipper Ozzie Guillen's Southwest batting order this evening. It is going to be Cabrera, Pierzynski, and Quentin. In the heart of the lineup, it is Dye, Thome, and Konerko. Swisher, Ramirez, and Creedy close it out. And the U.S. Sailor starting pitcher for the Indians, Cliff Lee. He's made 26 starts, and he's 19-2. That's just outstanding with that 2.43 earned run average. And his Rico defensive setup is going to be Francisco, Sizemore, and Gutierrez, the outfield of the future they're hoping. Carroll's at third, Peralta at short, Cabrera and Garco the right side of the infield. Chapik does the catching. Nice evening for baseball. 77 degrees, humidity at 68%. Winds a bit of a factor for those power-hitting left-handers into right center field. Forecast pleasant. Umpires Mike DeMuro, Larry Vanover, James Hoy, and the crew chief Tim McClellan. Let's play some ball. Let me pass it along now to my partner. That's Kenneth the Hawk Harrelson with the play-by-play.
All right, DJ, thank you. And once again, good evening, everyone, and welcome to White Sox baseball right here on Comcast SportsNet. And before we show you our picks to click, you at home select yours. As Orlando Cabrera gets set to lead it off. Cabrera comes in hitting at 272, 7 homers, 52 driven in. Sox, as I mentioned, come in at 77 and 59, half game in front of Minnesota, as there is first pitch strike from the 30-year-old southpaw. Lee, 6'3", 190 pounds, out of Benton, Arkansas. Sopik wants to throw another strikeout here with a fastball, and that one's high and wide. Cabrera, 5 for 22 lifetime against Cliff Lee. Sox come in hitting .267 as a club with that 3.92 ERA. And that's low, 2-1. This is the 13th meeting of the year between these two clubs. In the first 12, Sox have won 9 of them. They have played 6 here, and they have split those, and Sox are 6-0 against this club at USA LaField. So the count 3-1.
Good sign so far. Mike DeMuro not giving any extension of the corners to a man with outstanding control.
Yeah, just as catch the corner, says DeMuro. Spoke too soon.
That was a good pitch. You saw Orlando really taking all the way, just showing bunt. But never actually going to bunt at it.
Ball's off the plate.
Hasn't swung it yet.
He does, and that's into left field. And that's going to be a base hit, falling in front of Ben Francisco. So a good way to start.
6 pitches, 1 swing, and it worked out perfect. If you get a chance as a hitter to see that many pitches from Cliff Lee, take advantage, that's for sure, because he does not throw a whole lot of pitches to each hitter. It's usually strike 1, and then hitters become more aggressive, and he's a lot of the time quickly ahead 0-2.
So here's AJ. AJ hitting at .292, 12 homers. He's driven in 54. Carroll off the line and even with the bag at third as the attempted bunt. Boy, last few times AJ has tried to bunt, that has been an exercise in futility.
Yes, it has, and he's a really good bunter. So he's out of sorts right now, and I love it, though. I think that's an area of the White Sox offense that needs to be truly used the latter part of this season as we close things out. Just go ahead as often as you can, especially against good pitchers. Try and make them feel their position.
And there's a base hit. Loops it just over the head, so Cabrera had to wait. Did not get the good jump. So the first 2 men aboard. AJ now 11 for 29 lifetime off Cliff Lee.
One thing he did so well on that swing is he really makes sure he stays on the ball. He jams himself, and he's got a nice level good swing on the pitch. And as he jams himself, because of the good level plane that the swing was on, he goes ahead and muscles it out there on a little soft line drive.
He does a lot of good things at the bat when he keeps it in front of him. Those big swings where he gets off to the side and behind him. Not too much damage. As here is Carlos Quentin hitting at .290, 36 homers and 100. Driven in. That is high and going foul into the seats down the right field line. Carlos has faced Cliff Lee 3 times, has 1 hit. And here at Progressive Field, 325 down the lines, 375 in right center, 370 in left center, and 400 straightaway center. That's inside off the plate to even the count at 1. That 400-foot mark they've got out there in center field. I've seen it in the same spot where it said 405, and I've seen it where it said 408.
It keeps changing, does it?
Yeah.
They remeasure every year.
Cliff Lee is one of those guys, even though he is not a flame thrower, he throws hard, and you got to make him get it down. He is not a sinker ball pitcher per se. He is a guy who, if you chase the high fastball, he'll just walk you right on up the ladder.
Well, he's definitely a sneaky fastball guy. There's no question. He uses an awful lot, and he has actually this year, I've been told, been using a little sinking fastball to keep you off of his straight one some, and getting some ground balls and double plays.
Well, he's had to do something to be 19-2. You'd have to figure, here's a man that was sent down last year.
Yes.
Was really having a tough time, but you knew it was probably just a matter of time, unless there was an injury, that he would get it back. And get it back, he's done it in fine fashion.
Well, no question about it. You know, he's has 19 wins, 2 losses now, but back in 05, he won 18 games for these Indians while losing just 5 games. So he's had some good success before.
Well, he's 35 over 500. Fools Carlos right there, had him off balance out in front, 1 out.
That's just a real nice pitch. Kept it down where it needed to be. It's almost like a split changeup. Splits his fingers on the ball a little bit. It's not a true splitter, but it takes just enough off of the pitch. It looks like the heater, and you're out in front.
So a big strikeout for him, and here's Jermaine Dye. Jermaine at 296, 32 homers and 83 knocked in. Takes first pitch strike.
That little quick pitch, 93-mile-an-hour fastball is going to sneak up on a lot of hitters. That is going to make his changeup that much more effective, and his breaking ball if the guys start trying to cheat because of that little quick pitch.
One and one to count. Not a big crowd on hand. They're averaging 27,166. Sox come in at 31 and 37 on the road, 46 and 22 at home. A 1-2 to Jermaine Dye. Jermaine 6 for 24 lifetime with a homer against Cliff Lee. Checks it up. So the count 2-2. Good check right there by JD.
Yeah, that was a tough pitch to lay off of. Just off the inside corner. Breaking ball. Cliff Lee with that little short leg lift and quick stride towards the plate.
There's a shot. It's going to be a double play. So the first 2 men get on, and we only strand 1 after a half inning of play. It's the Sox nothing and the Indians coming to bat.
Time to take a look at Eric Wedge and the Cleveland Indians Southwest batting order. It is Sizemore, Carroll, and Francisco, followed by Peralta, Garco, and Chu, who's been hot. Gutierrez, Shopik, and Cabrera close it out. And the U.S. Cellular starting pitcher is going to be Clayton Richard. He's 2-2 with the 6.33 earned run average, 319 they've hit against him. And let's take a look at his Rico defensive setup of Quinton, Swisher, and Dye. Creedy, Cabrera, Ramirez, and Konerko. Pierzynski does the catching for Richard.
Center fielder Grady Sizemore will lead it off, hitting at 272, 31 homers, 83 driven in. Takes it just off the outside corner. Indians come in at 65 and 70, 11 and a half games back of our Sox. Tied 36 and 32 here at home. While on the road, they are 29 and 38. Indians hitting at 258 as a club with a 4.37 ERA. Two balls and a strike to the 26-year-old center fielder. Little tardy right there. And the count evens at 2.
Here is the most dangerous leadoff man in baseball. Power, speed. Can't lay it down the middle. You don't want to walk him.
35 stolen bases, 39 attempts. There's a good pitch. Just ate him up inside.
Nice job by Clayton Richard in this at bat. He's worked him away and then finally gets him out in. Just beat him with the fastball as that tailing runner just right on the hands.
That'll bring up the third baseman, Jamie Carroll, hitting at .272, 1 homer, and he's driven in 28. Grady at the cut of the grass at third, now moves in on the grass. Outfield slightly to the right. And the count 2-0. And a very happy Labor Day to each and all. And while we are celebrating Labor Day, why don't we just take a moment out of our time and think about all those people in harm's way of Gustav out of Mississippi, Louisiana, and Texas. That's flared out into right field. Jermaine, yes. As he had time to brace himself just a little bit, hits the wall pretty hard. 2 down.
Yes, he did. I mean, this is committing to the ball. What a great job by Jermaine. Sometimes as an outfielder, you realize the importance of just continuing on stride, hitting something hard, and taking it for the team. He did exactly that and lands right in the lap of a White Sox fan who's awfully happy to have him on board.
Like a guy was going to drag him back in the seats.
I'm here for you. I support you, my friend, and I wouldn't let anything happen to you.
Left fielder Ben Francisco.
That'd have been an Indians fan. Might have just grabbed his head and run it into the chair.
Ball hit hard into center field. Right at Swish. Nice inning right here. 1-2-3 for Clayton Richard. And right now, let's check out our Heineken picks to click. Jim Angier, our director and the crew, went with Alexei. Robin, Aiden, Tatum, and DJ going with Cabrera. And Ronnie Watula and his family, along with Joe Hajduk. Ronnie, I want you to ride Joe hard and then put him away wet. We're going to go with A.J. Pierzynski. As we get set to go to the top of the second, it'll be Tommy, Konerko, and Swisher. Jim hitting at .253, 29 homers, 79 knocked in. Hit number 29 yesterday, also number 536. A big 2-run homer in the first inning against the Carmines of Boston. And that tied him with Mickey Mantle.
Yeah, 14th all time. That's a pretty good.
And if you missed it yesterday, right around Pesky's pole. He just missed this one. Stretch. Maybe he didn't. Stretch. Get on back there. Man, he just missed it. That would have been a landmarker.
Talked about it right at the top of the hour, folks, how left-handed power guys were going to have a problem in right center field. And Jim Thome just lost a home run because the wind and the opening in the stadium held it up. This ball is crushed straight up in the air. And the flag, and a big flag, is just blowing straight in. It knocked it down.
So here's Konerko. Konerko hitting at .235, 13 homers, 47 driven in. Takes that pitch outside. Paulie, 14 for 39 lifetime off Cliff Lee, with 5 homers and 14 RBIs. And the count 2-0.
Cliff Lee indeed has had some struggles in his career against the White Sox. 4-5 his record with a 6.13 earned run average. Matchups are amazing in this game.
That's a soft fly ball into right. 2 down.
Even with that being said about matchups, Cliff Lee is a different pitcher now with a much better approach against the White Sox. And you talked about it a second ago. Now he's got that fastball that gets up on the hitters, and now he's implemented that little bit of a two-seamer that sinks for him to get the ground ball. So just a little change like that can completely change the outcome against a team that used to own you.
Here's Swish. Swish hitting at 227, 22 homers, 65 driven in. Takes ball one. And there's strike one. Swish 4 for 11. Lifetime off Lee. And that catches the corner.
Swish just hitting 200 against left-handers this year. Does have 5 of his 22 homers, though, so for such a low average, at least he's shown some power.
Yeah, that's a very generous strike right there, called by Mike DeMuro for Cliff Lee. Two out, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Outfield straight up. They're not moving around a whole bunch. Just off the end of the bat. Some finals, 13-9. Yankees beat the Tigers in Detroit. Top of the second in Boston. Baltimore leading the Red Sox 1-0. Later on, Seattle at Texas. Limited slate of action in the American League. In the National League, Washington beat the Phillies 7-4 in D.C. Houston shuts out the Cubs 3-0 at Wrigley. And the 2-2 pitch. That's into center field. So it's going to be a nice easy inning for the 30-year-old southpaw. And after 1.5, nada.
Fans, the last Win a Jersey Wednesday is coming up. Matter of fact, it's going to be September 10th when the White Sox host the Blue Jays. Don't forget to get out to the ballpark and get your opportunity to win a jersey autographed by the coaches and players.
Shortstop Johnny Peralta, the cleanup hitter, will lead it off here in the bottom of the second. Johnny hitting at 278, 21 homers, 74 knocked in. Just off the outside corner. D-backs beat the Cardinals today 8-6 out in Phoenix. Change up and the count 2-0. Peralta 26 years old, and there's a strike. Mets beat Milwaukee 4-2. 4-9-0 for the Metropolitans, 2-8-0 for the Brew Crew. Oh, the leadoff walk. And that'll bring up Garco. Garco hitting at 254, 10 homers. He's driven in 70.
He's hit lefties good at 290. Has an overall 254 batting average, so you can see far better against the Southpaws. Just one of his 10 home runs, though. He's been hot, driving in 14 runs the last 15 games.
Well, Garco's, there's a strike. A 331 lifetime hitter against us and 124 bats, 4 homers, 23 RBIs.
I think he's definitely focused too much on the home run, which has knocked all of his overall numbers down because of it. When we first started playing him, he hit the ball up the middle the other way and occasionally hit a home run. Now he swings for the fences a lot more.
When he first came into the league, he couldn't hit the ball to the left side of second base. Everything was to the right side.
You know, and we don't know if Derek Shelton, the hitting coach, started saying, hey, you're a big, strong guy. You should turn on some balls. Or he just decided that, guess what? I am a big, strong guy. I need to hit more home runs. But whatever it is, his effectiveness has gone down.
That's the way he hit against us when he first came up. Everything to the right side. So trouble brewing here in the bottom of the second inning. The leadoff walk will always, for the most part, get you in trouble.
Garco indeed decides to just stay on the changeup the other direction. He's going to really stay close, let that ball get deep. So his approach was the whole time during that swing, go the other way. You can see he never wanted to get out there too quick.
So here's Shin-Soo Choo. Another 26-year-old. This guy's a good player. Takes first pitch strike. Hitting at 276, 9 homers, 42 knocked in. He has 23 doubles and a couple of triples.
And he's on fire right now. He's homered in a couple of straight in 3 of the last 4 games.
Yeah, he got a chance to be a good player. Fouls that one off in the count 0-2. We mentioned at the top, Minnesota is off today. They're spending the off day up in Toronto. Good pitch. So Minnesota will have a 3-game set there, 4 days and 3 games at the Rogers Center. They will come home for 7 days, 6 games, 3 with the Tigers and 3 with Kansas City. Then the Twins right back on the road again. Another long one. 3 in Baltimore, 3 in here in Cleveland, and 4 down in St. Petersburg. Pretty good pitch, didn't get it. A 1-2. Uh-oh. He got away with one right there.
Anytime I've talked to former big league pitchers that were pretty good, one thing they say they needed to know was who was hot at the time that they were going to pitch against them. Therefore, they make sure they don't make mistakes like that last pitch from Clayton. You've got to locate against the hot hitters.
That's off the glove of Konerko, so the leadoff walk is going to come around and score, and Garco is in the third. It is 1-0 Indians.
Well, better keep it there. It's Cliff Lee. He doesn't usually give up more than 1 or 2 runs in an outing, and that's been all year long. Fastball right there to hit for Chu. And he does what you're supposed to. He hit it hard enough to where the infielder doesn't have much time to react, so it gets by him. That's what you want to do as a hitter. Just make good, hard contact. And with that taking place, you give yourself the best chance that you possibly can to find a hole or at least land it in front of an outfielder.
So Richard in a big jam already here just in the bottom of the second inning, and here is the right fielder Franklin Gutierrez. Gutierrez at 234, 8 homers, 35 driven home.
Was the starting right fielder right out of the gate this year for the Indians. Really struggled. They were disappointed. They ended up sending him down to the minor leagues before he was just recently recalled.
Now Clayton had a 1-2-3 first, but he fell behind a couple of those hitters. Now, I don't care who you're pitching against. You pitch 2-0-3-1 unless you are overpowering, or unless you have some sort of a trick pitch, which he doesn't, you're in trouble. Gets a strike there.
There's no question it is the utmost importance for Clayton Richard to get ahead and force the hitters to be more aggressive, and then you can go ahead and just be off the edges of the corners and maybe they'll help you out. But if you fall behind, it's never going to happen.
That's going foul. Well, the Tribe this year, when they score first, they are 19 games over 500 at 47-28.
And they have a very good record, the 4th best record in baseball over the last couple of months. So they're playing far better. They had that 10-game winning streak they just came off of.
Yeah, Seattle came in here and swept them. Well, 1 out.
Dr. Hearn pretty happy about something. Now, Ozzy's saying, keep your eyes on Herm. He's giving the signs.
Probably talking to Joel Skinner down there at third base.
Yes. Former White Sox catcher.
So here's a dangerous hitter. The catcher, Kelly Shopping. Hitting .264, 17 homers, 46 driven in. Takes ball 1.
Shopping taking advantage of the situation as he's been given an opportunity to catch once Victor Martinez went down with that bad elbow and had surgery on it.
Well, what happens is there's a strike. What happens in a situation like that, it just opens up the door for the Indians to move Victor Martinez. As you see, the 29-year-old switch hitting guy, catcher, DH. Played yesterday, went 1 for 5, hit a double off the wall. He has yet to hit a home run this season, but it gives him a chance to move him to first base since they don't have a definitive first baseman. Or they could just DH him. But then all of a sudden, you got that big left-handed dangerous guy who's had really a terrible year and a half.
Travis Hafner.
Yeah, I mean, he's so you don't know. They've got some options with Shopping busting out from behind the plate offensively like this. High pop-up. Paulie.
Well,
so 2 down.
Great job keeping these runners stranded at the corners with nobody out, but can he complete the task? Can't
We'll
have
see.
a letdown. Yeah, right here. He's going against Cabrera, who fortunately has been a little bit cold lately, and he's struggled with men in scoring position, so don't have a let up now.
Well, you got, as I said, you got that big, strong left-handed DH that had the bad right shoulder. And they don't know what's going to be his prognosis, so to speak. Hafner. As Drupal Cabrera can't get that one.
Well, looking at the Indians lineup from opening day to now, when they were expected to be on top of this division, it's quite a different lineup to say the least.
Knocks it down. He's got time. Takes it, makes it, and a good job right there of a big jam, pitching his way out of it, but they score 1 and lead it 1-0. Top of the 3rd inning. Alexei Ramirez will lead it off. He'll be followed by Joe Creedy, then back to the top of the order with Orlando Cabrera. 1-0, Tribe on top. Alexei hitting at .307, 15 homers, 60 driven in. Takes first pitch strike right there. Good rip just underneath it. Meanwhile, the count is 0-2. And that's popped up. Watch the bat. 1 out.
One of those incidental contact plays that almost take place, but Cliff Lee and a couple of the Indians were looking at Alexei Ramirez as if he did that intentionally, but he didn't. He's standing there and he just flicks the bat. He never even looks at the first baseman. But you can understand if you're a pitcher saying, hey, wait a minute, dude. Don't try and interfere with some play out there and get yourself another swing.
First pitch strike to Creedy. Creedy hitting at 248, 17 long ones and 55 driven in. Outfield slightly to the left. Bit of a gap out there in right center. Carroll backing off the line at third. And while we have a moment, I want to send out our condolences and best wishes to the family of Rafael Rivas, who passed away 30 years old. His two children. Rafael, the nephew of Roy, who is our head chef there at US Cellular Field. That ball into right center. 2 down. Unexpectedly. So here's Cabrera. He's singled. Little soft single out in the left field to start the ball game off. Starts him off with a breaking pitch. 1-0 the count. That's high and wide. He's got the catbird seat. Right there. Cliff Lee's not going to walk a whole bunch of guys. Another generous strike.
And you'll notice.
It's all about Mike DeMuro.
He likes to work fairly quick too, does Cliff Lee.
What's this? That ball is right down that batter's box on the left-handed hitter's white line. He's going to give him that pitch. We're going to have a long, a short night. Meanwhile, that is 8 in a row retired by Cliff Lee.
White Sox baseball is brought to you in part by your Chicago area Lexus dealer, who invites you to test drive a Lexus today. Aflac, ask about it at work, and by Nissan and your Nissan dealer.
It is a 1-0 Cleveland lead here in the bottom of the third inning. Have a beautiful, beautiful evening for baseball. Not a bad crowd on, a little bit late arriving, but once again, Sox in the first of a 3-game set here. Clayton Richard against Cliff Lee.
I think that's what's bringing the people out. A guy on the verge of winning 20 games on the season.
Sizemore fakes the bunt, takes the ball. He grounded out softly to Ramirez at second. Richard hit him on the fist with a good fastball. And the count once again 2-0.
Well, two things the Indian fans have been able to look forward to this year. That's Grady Sizemore and Cliff Lee.
There's the strike.
Grady Sizemore doing something no Indians player has ever done. 30 home runs, 30 stolen bases, and also 30 or more doubles.
Chops that one foul. So 2-2.
Joe Carter was a 30-30 man for the Indians, but he didn't have the 30-plus doubles to go with it.
Well, we thought that CC Sabathia would be here forever, especially being a homegrown product. And the way they've been going about it now, you don't know what they're going to do. You'd have to assume they're going to keep Grady Sizemore, but On the other side of that page, maybe not.
Isn't that the truth?
Softly hit. Bad throw. He has a lot of trouble, unless he's on the mound, he has a lot of trouble throwing the ball to his target. That's amazing. Being a quarterback at Michigan, you got to hit a target or a moving target there. And being a pitcher in the big leagues.
Well, this is the third time now in Clayton's young big league career that he has thrown a ball that far off the mark to first base when all he has to do is just carefully take aim and get it there. Matter of fact, he had one ball hit to him already in this game, and fortunately for him, he was able to get a good angle and just flip it underhand to Paulie, because you can see that he has no confidence when he's moving off of that hill and having to throw it over the top.
Boy, I'll tell you what, that is absolutely amazing. It really is. That wasn't even close. Jamie Carroll stands in. He went out to Jermaine Dye, who made a good catch in foul ground against him.
I'll tell you what, yeah, the way he threw that, it's almost like he had stickum on his fingers and the ball wouldn't come off. And when it did, it was a little off the mark.
Takes the bunt, takes the ball.
Well, leadoff two-base errors definitely don't help your cause when you're trying to win a ball game, and you're going against a guy that's not going to probably give up more than 1 or 2 runs in an outing. Not a good way to start off an inning, that's for sure.
Yeah, that could be a mental thing with him. He's got to be on a mound or else he can't throw it. But how in the heck did he play football?
You know, as a backup quarterback at Michigan, he's a man that was able to throw a football on the run and hit a target moving. First baseman stationary.
That'll get the job done.
Fans, create your own White Sox collectible using your own photos at the photo store on whitesox.com. It's easy. Just upload your photo, choose from prints, mugs, magnets, and more. Place your order, and you are done. In 3 easy steps, you can make your very own White Sox memory.
Well, I've seen it in my career in this game. I've seen it with pitchers. I've seen it with infielders. I've seen it with catchers. And I'll tell you, it's just hard to fathom. And it's sad, really. And it has been, you know, in the case of Chuck Knobloch and, you know, even Steve Sachs. Steve Blass. I faced Steve. Is that the strike one to Ben Francisco?
That was the only area of baseball you left out with those throwing problems. Us outfielders.
Well, you couldn't stay away from umpires.
That's the good thing about being an outfielder. If you couldn't throw and if you couldn't do it accurately, is you got a cutoff man that can run around out there and help you out. So you really could hide if you had throwing deficiencies.
I've never seen an outfielder with the throwing deficiencies of the guys we just mentioned.
No. But then again, if they had a rover, like a second baseman that had a rover between first and him, maybe he can run and relay it to the first baseman if they're a little off.
2 balls and a strike.
Clayton did a great job last inning, just allowing the 1 run in a big, tough situation. And he needs to try and do it for a second straight inning. You can't keep pushing your luck like this.
3-1 to count with a cleanup hitter. Johnny Peralta on deck.
Yeah, this is the guy that you definitely would prefer to be hitting with 1 out. He has not done a great job compared to Peralta in these situations.
So that infield, and he got the catbird seat, and there's a bullet. It is 2-0. The unearned run will cross the plate.
Three-1 counts. Not a good place to be with the infield drawn in and runner on third base. And you just throw it right down the middle to that number 3 hitter in the lineup.
Here's Peralta. He walked to lead off last inning and scored. So we've had the leadoff walk that came around and scored, and we've had the leadoff two-base throwing error that's come around and scored. And those are not good when you're trying to win a divisional title with only 26 games remaining.
No, that's something you and I have been emphasizing lately, is the fact that the little things like that need to be eliminated. For some reason, Tim McClellan is really hollering towards Eric Wedge in the Indians dugout. And I think that's the second time that Tim has walked down that line to say something down towards Eric.
Gets that one by him. So the count 0-2.
But the elimination of the little mistakes like we just saw in this inning has to take place for the White Sox to be able to stay atop the division down the stretch here.
Oh, nice play. Nice recovery right there by Cabrera. Nice pick by Konerko. Beautiful by OC. Meanwhile, the unearned run crosses the plate and we trail it 2-0. Got ourselves a 2-0 Cleveland lead here in the top of the fourth inning. Pierzynski, who singled his first trip, will lead it off. He'll be followed by Quinton and then Dye. For the most part, 2 gift runs given to the Indians. First pitch strike. And the count evens at 1. Bottom of the fourth at Fenway, Baltimore and Boston tied at 2. We mentioned Houston shut out the Cubs today 3-0. Cubs with 4 hits. Through the wickets in the count 2-1. First of a 3-game set here. Tomorrow evening, Johnny Danks against Fausto Carmona, 24-year-old right-hander. And that game also right here on Comcast SportsNet. Then on Wednesday afternoon, Javi Vasquez against Jeremy Sowers, 25-year-old southpaw, and that game will be over WGN. Big hack.
A little cut spin on that high fastball. Very difficult pitch because you think it's not that hard. You feel that it's a slider because you see the rotation and it just keeps cutting just a little bit, and it's a lot harder than a slider.
That a little too high for AJ to maybe chase it. So a full count. AJ hitting a .293 as he stands up that dish, and that's going to be flared foul into the seats for a souvenir. Then after this series, Sox Wednesday will board their charter, come on home, start a 10-game homestand. We'll have an off day on Thursday. Then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the 5th, 6th, and 7th. It'll be the Angels coming to town in the 8th through the 11th. Toronto before, as that's popped up. One out. And then to finish off that 10-game homestand, we'll have the Tigers the 12th, 13th, and 14th. And we understand tickets are available for all those games. We'll only have, after that, 3 more home games in the season. That'll be the final 3 games of the year, 26th, 27th, 28th against these Indians. So dial 866 Sox game, check it out, get your tickets. And hopefully that homestand, we can get some good home cooking, where we are 46-22, and there's no question about one of the reasons being the support of the fans this year. (46-22). We have got to have a big homestand and get some room between us and Minnesota. 1-1.
The White Sox hitters tonight are waiting for a mistake to hit over the fence against Lee. He hasn't done that very often this year.
Ball hit hard. Positioned perfectly as Cabrera. But look, talking about Cabrera, let's watch this play he made to end the bottom of the third.
This is special. Watch him not even look at it. Head down, bare hand, off balance flip. Alexi can't believe the ball's coming to him. Just fires over towards Paula, who finishes off. So you've got 3 players involved in an amazing play to help the pitcher out. And then Juan Uribe's letting him know, look, you got to keep your eye on the ball if you want that to be where people aren't saying you got lucky. You got to watch it into your bare hand, man. I'll tell you.
I love that exchange there. There's a man that beat one out of his job. I'll tell you, Juan Uribe is a special guy.
Yes.
That's cute off the end of the bat. He is a special guy. That man, one of the best shortstops in the league, did a terrific job playing third, does a terrific job at second.
And he's funny as can be.
You know what? He just loves to laugh.
Oh, man.
Meanwhile, the 0-2 pitch. Tried to backdoor him. Jermaine 0 for 1. He hit a bullet right to Cabrera at second base, who ran over, stepped on second, doubled up Orlando. That is 11 in a row retired by Lee.
Time right now for our trivia question. Who's the only pitcher in Indians history to save 30-plus games in 3 consecutive seasons? It's only been one, and we'll let you know when we know.
Indians with a 2-0 lead. 2-3-0 for them. 0-2 and a big one for us. If you're just tuning in, we had a leadoff walk that came around and scored in the second inning, and then we had Sizemore leading off the third. Easy play for Clayton Richard to throw him out at first, and he didn't even come close. 2-base throwing error, and he comes around and scores. So in essence, 2 gift runs. Garco singles sharply into right field, his first trip. On the outside corner. One and 2 the count. 24-year-old southpaw pumps, kicks, and the count hangs right there.
Well, a lot of pitching coaches would try and change that quick high leg kick of a Clayton Richard, and others that do the same thing because they think it's too violent of a movement and can get him out of a good throwing position. But it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Orlando sucks it up, throws him out, and 1-0.
The 2008 Chicago White Sox are presented by U.S. Cellular. U.S. Cellular, believe in something better.
So here's Chu. Shin-Soo Choo had an RBI single. Chu's got a chance to be a good hitter. As that's popped up into short center field. Now left center, Carlos is there. 2 down. Chu also runs well, throws well, does everything pretty good.
And he's a DH.
And he's a pretty good outfielder.
Yeah. Well, it's a good problem in the sense that Cleveland has 3 young, talented outfielders, and Chu, Francisco, Gutierrez, and Sizemore.
And here is Gutierrez, struck out swinging on a fastball that was outside the zone. And the count 2-0.
The toughest things for young players like a Gutierrez is they get to the big leagues. A job is given to them when they're young and they have success, and then all of a sudden they falter. That's tough. When something's been given to them, they didn't really have to work too hard for it, and then all of a sudden it's taken away. A lot of times that's a wake-up call for a young talented player, and they realize there really isn't any gifts given at this big league level that are just going to be there for you at all times. You're going to have to keep it.
That ball's hammered off the wall. Trish will get it back in. Whew. 22nd double by Gutierrez.
Yeah, that's a line missile hit about 400 feet from home plate. He's got some talent. You can see it right here. He's got the swing. He's got some power. He does basically everything that you can. But then it comes to consistency. You've got to be consistent in the big leagues. Otherwise, you're not going to keep your job. And that's been the problem this year for Gutierrez.
So here's Shopik. He popped up to Konerko. Watch out. Well, we both know what happens a lot of times in situations of that nature. Young players come up. They put some big numbers up at the minor league level. They have a lot of confidence. And then all of a sudden they get in there and they do pretty good. Then, as you mentioned, the job is given to them. And then for some reason, not to say this is what happened in Gutierrez's case, a lot of them take it for granted.
No question about it.
They take it for granted, and they don't work quite as hard. As that pitch is down low, 1-1.
I use the comparison to what you talk about, lower draft choice, especially pitchers that had to really always prove it. They get here, they're not going to take anything for granted.
Nothing. That's the reason I love those guys from the 8th and the 15th round. It's amazing how many guys in the first few rounds, pitchers, we're talking about young pitchers now, who have never had to really compete because their stuff was just overpowering to the competition. All of a sudden they get in pro ball. Now they got to compete and they don't know how. Just waves at that one, and the count evens at 2.
Well, we saw former big league general manager and now scout for the Minnesota Twins and Boston, Joe McIlvaine, and we were talking about pitchers in the draft and all those types of things, and just this topic what you and I are discussing right now was what we were talking about is the fact that you can draft guys with all this ceiling and talent, but it doesn't mean they're going to succeed and get to the big leagues. Thank you, Franklin Gutierrez. Go ahead and distract the hitter with a 2-2 count.
So it's just fouled down at the plate. Yeah, I had some dealings with Joe McIlvaine when he was general manager of the Mets. He wanted, you know, he wanted in the worst way, Kenny Williams. He wanted to trade for Kenny Williams in the worst way. He told me over the phone he thought that Kenny Williams was the best prospect in baseball. That's trouble. It is a 3-0 game.
Well, it looked like he just floated the changeup up and out for Shopik. Let's take another look at it. There's actually a little breaking ball, and Kelly Shopik just driving it the other direction. And back-to-back doubles adds another run, and they've now scored in 3 straight frames, have these Cleveland Indians.
Well, here's Cabrera. He had a comebacker. To Richard. Tossed it underhand and got him out. Strike, and the count evens at 1. Bit of a gap out there in left center. 3-5-0 for them, 0-2-1 for us. And there's another base hit. He's going to give it a go. Here's a throw. It's off the mark. So 3 straight doubles. And with Cliff Lee on the mound, there comes a point of no return.
Well, this shouldn't have been a double. It appeared to be a little confusion between the left and center fielders on who was going to go ahead and get to the ball and get it back in. And then finally, Carlos Quentin goes ahead and says, well, I'll get it. But you see, there's one problem. As they're both kind of looking at each other, and then Carlos' momentum taking him the other way, and his body's falling off towards center field when he tries to throw it back towards second. Very difficult throw to be accurate with.
That's the same thing, though, for Swish. His momentum was going to be taking him away from it as well.
No question about it. Tough throw for either guy, but really it was just a matter of them looking at each other trying to see who was going to take it, and costing them a couple of steps and aggressiveness getting to the ball, and maybe more of an opportunity to stop that runner.
Sizemore fouls it back in the count 0-2. Three straight doubles. That's up high. That's like we were talking with David Kaplan and Dave Van Dyke, David Hall, and Dan Plesac on CLT before the game. You know, is it the age-old question among managers? In this case, starting one of your good pitchers against one of their good pitchers. Or do you don't do that? Some managers believe you do. Other managers believe you don't. I, for one, am glad, as I said earlier, they moved Johnny Danks back a day, because it seems like this year he's been the one to wear it. Every time we had the ace of the other team going, it was his turn. And Cliff Lee, certainly, to me, the clear-cut Cy Young Award winner for 08. But some managers went the other way. I never believed in that. I thought you, especially against a good offensive team like we have. As he strikes him out, but they come up with a pair, and we'll go to the fifth in trouble. As you check out our Chevy, tail of the tape, not good. 4-6-0 for them, 0-2-1 for us. Jim Thome will lead it off. He'll be followed by Konerko and Swisher. 30-year-old southpaw Cliff Lee's first pitch outside. Thome just missed one. He got a breaking ball. It was up, and he just killed it straight up in the air. Takes it up, and the count 2-0. Come on, guys, let's get something going here. Try to get back in this ball game against the man who's trying to win his 20th game. There's just a little soft three hopper. One out.
And time right now for our AT&T delivered stat of the game. Paul Konerko. Well, the mechanic is not worried about those lately. He has just been swinging it. See, the last 20 games at .356 for Paul Konerko for AT&T delivered.
So Polly went out to right field. Takes first pitch strike. Just tuning in, Cliff Lee has thrown a lot of first pitch strikes with fastballs. Started a couple of our guys off with a breaking pitch, but most of them have been fastballs. And he has come back with another fastball after that, usually upstairs.
You know, one thing as a hitter, you're going to walk up there and you're going to see his fastball. And yet, a lot of guys take it anyway.
Well, you got to beat him on his fastball. But for a man, this is his 27th start this year. For a man who's only been beaten twice, he's doing something right.
No question about it. Location, location, location. And you can't tell me or anybody else that knows the game that he's just throwing fastballs up there and they're easy to pick up. There's something about his delivery. He's very quick with his arm, and he surprises the hitters. It's a little more explosive than they anticipate. Therefore, they take it a lot. And this is something to be remembered. No question about it. The start for Cliff Lee up there with some very, very special pitchers of the past.
So here's Swish. He went out to center field. Tags it up and takes strike one.
19-2 in 26 starts. That's not wasting many of them, and he has a couple of no decisions where he went 8 innings, 9 innings, and gave up just 1 run. He had 1 start back on the 1st of July. That was against Johnny Danks, where he went 8 innings, giving up 6 hits, 1 run. But Johnny Danks did the same thing, went 8 innings, giving up 1 run.
That's off the end of the bat into left center field. Sizemore. That is 14 in a row retired by Cliff Lee. Halfway home, trailing 4-0.
Time now for a Buick Pontiac GMC Sports Update.
Hey everybody, Chuck Arfine here in our Comcast SportsNet studios. Great news for the White Sox. Scott Linebrink has been activated from the disabled list. He will be available to pitch in a game as soon as Wednesday. The Sox also expanded their rosters today. We'll have the details when Bill Melton joins me after the game on White Sox Postgame Live. But now back to Cleveland with Hawk and DJ.
Hi, Chuck Meister. Jamie Carroll leads it off here in the bottom of the 5th inning against Clayton, whose first pitch is high and wide. Indians 1 in the 2nd, 1 in the 3rd. Those were gift runs, and then with 2 out, nobody on, they had 3 consecutive doubles. Picked up 2 in the 4th. Grady in close at 3rd. And the count 3-0.
And time right now for Fruit of the Loom feel for the game. Take a look at this. Jamie Carroll at the bat. Flares one down the right field line in foul territory. Jermaine Dye on the beat. Catches it, but check this out. Makes the play, goes flipping in there pretty hard in the seats. And look at this. He gets a good feeling indeed from the White Sox fan. JD knew and felt that was the right place to land in those seats with that White Sox fan sitting there. Attaway, JD.
Clayton Richard will depart. Aaron Wasserman comes on, and we'll be back.
And taking a look at some roster moves taking place prior to today's game. Scott Linebrink is activated from the DL. Mike McDougal, Aaron Wasserman, and Jerry Owens all recalled from Charlotte AAA. And catcher Paul Phillips' contract was purchased from Charlotte. So some moves and players available for tonight and every game hereafter. And there you see Aaron Wasserman, his season down at Charlotte, 3-0 with a 1.15 earned run average in 32 games. That'll work.
Here's Ben Francisco. With Jamie Carroll at first. He is 6 for 9 in stolen bases. The ball hit hard but foul. Well, in case you did not hear and just tuning in, Scott Linebrink threw 28 pitches today. Said he felt good afterward, working both sides of the plate. And if it presents itself the opportunity on Wednesday to get him in a game, they're going to try to get him in a game, which would be good before we come home for that huge 10-game homestand. And once again, a reminder, only 2 more homestands left, a 10-gamer and then a 3-gamer to end the season. 3 with the Angels, 4 with Toronto, and 3 with Detroit. Tickets available for all those games, so call 866-SOX-GAME and check it out. Also, if you're just tuning in and did not hear, the Twins, an off day up in Toronto. Outfield for the most part straight up. Bit of a gap out there in left center, and that ball is just hammered. Get foul. It will. Thank you very much. All right. Ours is on the left. There you see. 3 here. 3 at home against the Angels. 4 at home against the Blue Jays. 3 at home against the Tigers. 4 in the Bronx. 3 in Kansas City. And the big 3-game set in Minnesota. That ball hit high and deep into center field. Swish back, back, back. He's there right in front of the fence. 1 out.
Jamie Carroll at first base thought it had a chance to get up off that wall, went halfway, and then tried to sprint back to first base to tag. No chance. Either you just get far enough where you know you can tag and get back on this, or you just forget about it. Right here, he recognizes it's going to get caught. Now watch him. I can get back and tag. No way.
So here's Johnny Peralta. Johnny has walked and scored. He walked leading off the second. Then he hit into a 6-4-3 double play, one that was a little unusual. And we'll show you that in just a moment. Double play you don't see all the time.
No. Matter of fact, I brought a flashback going way back in time. Play made very similar by a man named the Wizard of Oz, as there goes the runner.
Strike him out, he steals, so he picks up his 7th. No, he fouled it.
Take a look right now at our Coors Light freeze cam. This is the double play. Look at this. The bare hand grab, toss, completion of a double play. Look at this. That's keeping your eye on the ball, folks.
Look at that.
Or not.
He looks like
no.
A right-handed Hideki Okajima.
Don't shoot. Coors Light freeze cam brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
I've seen that done before. You don't see it very often, though. I think one of the last times I saw that done was by a shortstop named Eddie Brinkman. Who, Brinky boy, a member of the White Sox family for so many years. I understand is a little under the weather, so we're wishing him the best as well. In fact, to this day, Eddie Brinkman had the greatest arm I've ever seen at shortstop.
That's saying a lot. But you've been saying that as long as we've talked about him.
He had a gun. Whew. Man. Could he throw?
Better than David Eckstein? The only shortstop ever where every time he throws it from his position, the first baseman's getting ready to jump, and then it comes down to him.
That's top foul. So the count hangs at 1-2.
Matter of fact, A lot of throws from Eckstein at shortstop. I've seen people in the seats duck when it left his hand. They hit the deck, only to have it caught by the first baseman, and it was on its downward arc.
Yeah, he just got traded over to Arizona.
Yes, he did. They're looking for him to maybe help out at second base with Orlando Hudson hurt at this time.
He gone. Took a little something off that breaking ball. Well outside and down.
Aaron gives you so much motion and turns his back on the hitter and then just floats the off-speed pitch. Indeed, a perfect location and pace to strike out the number 4 hitter for the Indians, Johnny Peralta.
Here's Garco. He's 1 for 2. After just getting home. Yankees beat the Tigers 13-9 at Comerica Park. There's a strike. Bottom of the 6th at Fenway. Baltimore and the Red Sox are tied at 3. Mets beat Milwaukee 4-2 at Miller Park. Houston shuts out the Cubs 3-0 at Wrigley. That's low. 4-0 Rockies shut out the Giants in Denver. Nasty Nats beat the Phils. Phils falling a little bit on hard times lately. 7-4 in D.C. Good changeup. Had him way out in front. D-backs beat the Cardinals 8-6 in Phoenix. Tampa Bay is off today as they carry a 5.5 game lead into today's action against Boston here on September 1st. Ball gets away.
This catches the inside of the shin guard of A.J. Pierzynski. He thinks it goes left, and it actually goes right. But Aaron Wasserman heads up, hustles over there, and takes the pressure off of his catcher. And a wild pitch moves the man into third base.
Well, with all the preseason publicity about the Red Sox and the Yankees in the East, and also the emergence of Toronto with that starting staff they had. There's a chopper, and that's going foul. Who would have thought on September 1st that Tampa Bay would be in first place, much less have a 5.5 game lead?
You know, Joe Madden, the manager, is not taking anything for granted. He is going to try his best to keep his inexperienced Rays their nose to the grindstone, and every single day play as hard as they possibly can down the stretch, because obviously the Red Sox aren't going to go away. They're going to keep playing good baseball, and they've been banged up. They've been doing it, piecing their team together. So Rays,
how about Tampa Bay?
Oh yeah, they've done it without a couple of their big stars available.
Better believe it. Two of their best players in Crawford and Longoria.
It always
Purcell's coming back.
Yeah, it always comes down, as you know, to pitching and catching at number 1, and from there you got to hit just enough.
And that is just foul. Just foul. Boy, that was really close. Tim McClellan gave it looked like a quick second look. Tim, one of the better umpires in this game.
Yes, he is. He's one of those guys that doesn't make any hasty decisions. He makes sure the call is right and then lets you know about it. This is strange because it almost looked like it wanted to come back fair. It goes over that base but lands in foul territory and then right through the wickets of McClellan as he stays with it. Watch this. He's going to watch it. It looks like it wants to come back and then just does come up in foul territory, and he says, I'm standing here. I know where I'm located. I know where the ball is. It's foul.
Once again, the 2-2. Got to hurry, Orlando. Now he gets a nice little bowling book bounce right there, and that'll do it. So Wasserman comes on, pitches over the leadoff walk by Richard, and we'll go to the 6th. And
Time right now for our trivia question and answer. Who was the only pitcher in Indians history to save 30-plus games in 3 consecutive seasons? How about this man, Doug Jones? Oh, man. Oh, I just got a sharp pain in my chest from that.
you know,
Oh,
every time I see his name, I think about you.
oh man. That hurt. Woo.
That
Thanks
was just
a lot,
like me
Dave
with Mo
Ross.
Drabowski. As Alexei, breaking pitch. He started off Alexei with a breaking pitch earlier. Alexei fouled out to Garco at first. 4-0 Bad Guys. We only have 2 hits. Both those coming in the top of the first from the first 2 hitters. And this is since that time, since those 2 hitters, Cabrera and Pierzynski, singled, he has retired everybody he's seen. Now 15 in a row.
Yeah, he's really been a pain in our butt tonight. No question about it. He's made it look easy. He doesn't look like he's even worked up a sweat out there.
He looks like he's had it on, with the exception of the first. He looks like he's just had this thing on cruise control. Sit back, relax, and strap it down, gang.
He's not going through this game unharmed, though. We're going to get a run or 2 off of him.
1-1 to count.
Knock him out of there and get to that bullpen. Knock him out the box.
Grady went out to center field. And the count 1-2.
Cliff Lee had a big article on him in the newspaper today, local paper. Says the only thing that matters to him is focusing on every start, every at bat, every pitch. They say that's been the big difference for him this year, his focus.
2 down. Joe now, since coming off the DL, is 3 for 21.
And looking at the way he has pitched this season, he truly does appear to be somebody that's not thinking about, hey, I got to pick up my 20th win. He said he doesn't want that to enter his mind. He wants to stick to the exact same routine he's had from the first start of the year to tonight.
Well, you know, we talked earlier about what could have possibly happened when we were talking with David Kaplan and the guys. And the thing about Lee is he just turned 30. And in his case, even though he has been successful before, but as far as getting to the plateau or level he is now, he may have figured out just a better routine for himself.
That's it.
Usually that's what a guy will do. He will hit on a routine, whether it be taking a nap in the afternoon, whether it be getting up early, whatever it is. It's all like a fingerprint, individual. When they hit that routine, you cannot shake them from it. There is nothing that will interfere with their routine, and they get in it and stay in it, and that gives them the peace of mind and some place to go when things start getting a little rough.
There's no question that his focus and concentration has been taken to the next level this year. Guy that has won 18 games in the big leagues before, but that was with a good team back in 05.
So 2-2 the count to Cabrera. Orlando, as I said, singled, and then he went out to left field. That was in the 3rd inning. And this is going to be 17 in a row retired by Cliff Lee.
White Sox baseball is brought to you in part by U.S. Cellular. U.S. Cellular. Believe in something better. And by the Toyota Tundra. Visit whytundra.com to find out why the Toyota Tundra is a great way to keep moving forward.
It's the bottom of the 6th inning, and the Indians lead our Sox 4-0. Cliff Lee has retired 17 in a row. So here's Chu. RBI single, and he has gone out to left. Good rip right there. He was all over it, just underneath it.
Swings like that let you know that his timing is on. No question about how hot he's been. We see the numbers on that, but then you bring in a different pitcher. First time you've seen him in this game, and he's all over him. He definitely has seen everybody well.
Boston now winning their ball game 6-3 against Baltimore. Two and one to count to Chu. Shin-Soo Choo. Outfield playing him for the most part straight up. Infield same way. 3-1. And once again a reminder, Johnny Danks tomorrow night against Fausto Carmona. Danks, 23-year-old southpaw against a 24-year-old right-hander in that game right here on Comcast SportsNet. Then on Wednesday afternoon, Javi Vasquez against Jeremy Sowers as you check out our Felco White Sox upcoming schedule. And then an off day on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, though, we will tee it up. 3 games against the Halos, starting that 10-game homestand. Only 2 homestands left. He is 2 for 3.
Friday, September 5th, the Sox host the Angels. It is Latin music night. There'll be dancing, special activities for kids, and an on-field parade. Presented by Miller Lite. For game tickets, call 866-SOX-GAME or visit whitesox.com.
Franklin Gutierrez struck out and then doubled. He started off that 2-run 4th with a bullet. I mean, just a rocket off the deep left center field wall. Takes ball 1. Sox are 9-3 against Cleveland this year. 3-3 here and 6-0 back home, where we will finish up the season with these guys back home. That short 3-game homestand. 2-0. Yeah, it's 3-0. Boone Logan.
Well, the skipper told him to go down and get it back together. Boone said he's extremely pleased to be back here with a second opportunity.
So a lot of trouble brewing right here.
Well, there's a big problem as Aaron Wasserman completely dominates down in AAA. He's done it the last couple of years down there. Last season, he got called up, had some problems when he was sent back down and recalled. He did great. He was the most reliable guy that Ozzie had down in that bullpen other than Bobby Jinks the second half of the season in 07. And this year, something's just off. He does not trust his stuff at the big league level. He's pitching behind all the time. And if that's going to be the case, he's got no chance.
Well, from what we have seen, it's all between the ears. His stuff looks the same. It's not that he's short on his fastball or his sinker, I should say, or his breaking pitch. It's just the fact that which is unusual, when he first came up, he was just coming right at him. I mean, that appearance he made in 07 against the Tigers, very impressive. As he just looks to third. So Shopik with a sacrifice 2-3.
Well, that tells you a lot about Eric Wedge. Even with the front runner for the Cy Young going for the Indians tonight, he's not taking anything for granted with this 4-0 lead. He feels that the White Sox offense is dangerous enough to get back in this, so get 2 men in scoring position.
He made the right move. That is exactly the right move. You try to win ball games. That's the thing. But especially when you get a guy that's 19-2 for you and you can pad the lead. Meanwhile, Aaron departs and we'll be back.
Fans, every home game, the first 25,000 receive a Best Buy game card redeemable for a $10 gift card when you spend $100 or more at any Best Buy location. See stores for details. Boone Logan, his numbers here at the big club: 48 games, 2-3, 3 holds, a 5.36 earned run average. Now that 5.36 earned run average for Boone was about the last month and a half while he was with the big club before being sent down. He just completely unraveled. He had been dominating the first few months of the season, then it was just gone. He could not get a lefty out, a righty out, a guy standing over in the on-deck circle. It didn't matter. So now he's back here to refocus and get it done.
Infield in, switch hitting second baseman as Drupal Cabrera. He is 1 for 2, an RBI double. Breaking ball down and in, 1-0. And the count 2-0. Grady Sizemore on deck. If you're just joining us, Indians 1 in the second, 1 in the third, 2 in the fourth, and threatening right here in the sixth. Way high. There's a strike. Did you ever go to the plate with a count 3-0 and just really, when you had the take sign, hope that the guy threw a strike?
Oh, yes.
Oh, a lot of times. Sure. Full count.
You know, that's a good question, because there are those times, as you're pointing out right now, that you don't want to walk. You want to hit against the guy. Oh, goodness. And you get to 3-0. And you hope. I mean, I've seen guys actually in the past, Hawk, and I know you have, that would swing at a ball that wasn't even a strike 3-0 when they had a green light.
That's popped up in the short center field. Swish getting in shape. He's not going anywhere at third. So 2 down. Oh, yeah, you just sit there and back out for a second and just hope that he throws a strike, because you got the take sign, you can't swing.
There have been a few guys that get the green light and they really want to hit, and it's not even a strike, and they'll go ahead and take a half-hearted swing at it because they want to stay in the batter's box. They don't want it to be ball 4.
I've been hit before and didn't act like I got, you know, when just.
Oh, yeah. Stood there. Yeah. I never did that. I was never that confident. If it hit me, I was going to first.
So here's Sizemore. He's 0 for 3. Good breaking ball. That had a little snap on it.
Well, here is the true test. This is what Boone has to succeed at doing, getting out the tough left-handers. If he's not going to get it done, then that's a big problem for the bullpen and the Sox.
He's going to get it done. You can see the difference in his breaking ball. It's like night and day as compared to when he went down and now. Good job by Logan. Strands them right there, but we still trail it 4-0.
For each double play the White Sox turn this season, Dominics will make a donation to the Chicago White Sox charities.
As we get set to go to the 7th inning, 4-0, it'll be Pierzynski, Quentin, and Dye. The man's retired 17 in a row.
It's the shirt. He saw you in this shirt today, and it got him in the spirit.
Here's A.J. He had one of our 2 hits. In fact, if you're just joining us, the only 2 guys that have reached base for us were Cabrera and A.J. when they both singled leading off the 1st inning.
Well, you talk about starting the game out and giving your team some hope, like, all right, base hit, let's go. We're going to get this guy. No chance for 20 for him tonight. And I guess they set the tone the wrong way.
Sucked up by Cabrera.
You know, you sit here and you watch Cliff Lee work all night long, and I'll be honest with you, it doesn't look like he's doing anything very superior out there. It just seems like a normal left-handed pitcher. Yet it's quite obvious by the results of a pretty darn good offense that that's just not the case.
And some of the swings they're taking.
He is doing something that is not normal. He's got
now, wait a minute. Explain it. What is it? You're talking about maybe an illegal pitch?
No. No.
As that is popped up by Carlos, who's now going to be 0 for 3.
I wish that was the case. Then at least they'd have something they could be fired up about as an offense. Hey, he's cheating. But that's not apparently the case. But it looks like to me he just has, especially when he was out of the stretch earlier, a very deceptive quick delivery. And he's got that short arm where they're just not able to time his fastball. It goes on all game long and nothing changes. He just cannot time it right.
To me, it looks like he can throw it through a teacup. And he's had some help. I'm not talking about the reason we're losing this game is not because of the umpiring, but he's had some help behind the plate on more than a few pitches that were well outside the zone. And what that will do, though, is just like that pitch right there. It'll get you swinging. It's something outside the zone. Jermaine is 0 for 2. He's 0 for 3. 20 in a row. Retired by Cliff Lee.
Friday, September 5th, Sox and Angels will be playing, and it's Latin Music Night. There'll be special activities. There'll be dancing, an on-field parade, and it's all presented by Miller Lite. For game tickets, call 866-SOX-GAME. Go to visit whitesox.com. Pitching change, Mike McDougal. His numbers while he was down at AAA Charlotte, 0-4, but he had a 3.83 earned run average, 49-plus innings. He had 65 strikeouts, and you can see the category of walks. He's going to walk guys. You see his numbers on the bottom with the White Sox.
Jamie Carroll 0 for 2 with a walk and a stolen base. Takes first pitch strike. There's a little less violence in that motion than what we saw.
Well, the number one thing that Don Cooper, since Mike McDougal has put on a White Sox uniform, is to try and tame that delivery, keep his head on the target. Oh my goodness, you are not kidding.
Different motion.
He is completely under control out there, not flying all over the place.
Now Outfield around to the right, and the 0-2 delivery from Mike.
Until that pitch.
Yeah, that's the first. Those first two were beautiful.
Yeah, that was old school right there. Get my boy Blue.
He gone.
Well, that might work anyway, Hawk, to quickly get ahead.
Well, here's
under
the thing
control.
about it. You know yourself, the motion that he had with all that violence in it was very difficult on hitters, but it doesn't make any difference if you can't throw strikes. I don't care how much violent it is. If you're 2-0, 3-1, ball 4, doesn't make any difference. So you got to sacrifice something if, in fact, that motion is not working for you.
Well,
pretty good breaking ball right there.
Well, you're right. Right there to try and get ahead. He is under control. He did it the last batter. Now he's done it here.
The chopper, and he's got so much movement. Is nice play by Cootie. He's got so much movement on his pitch. At one time, there was not a pitcher in the American League who had more movement on his fastball than Mike McDougal.
There is absolutely no question that he can get hitters out just throwing it up in the vicinity of home plate with all the movement he has. Now, if he can stick to this under control way of pitching without it becoming a pattern to where everybody can figure it out, then he's got a chance to have a lot of success up here.
That ball into right field. Nice, quick, easy 1-2-3 inning for the easy motion Mike McDougal. Mercy.
From the Comcast SportsNet studios, it's a Cadillac Sports Update.
Hey everybody, Chuck Arfine here in our Comcast SportsNet studios. Our Buick GMC Pontiac opinion poll tonight. Who among the players called up will have the most impact down the stretch? Mike McDougal. Was that Mike McDougal on the pitcher's mound just now? Jerry Owens or Aaron Wasserman? Those are your choices. Log on to our website, ComcastSportsNet.com, and vote. We'll have the results after the game on White Sox Postgame Live. Hawk, DJ, back to you.
All right, Chuck Meister. This pitch strike, what new to Jim Thome as they got the shift on. Jamie Carroll, the third baseman, playing second base. Peralta just held his position at short.
You know, I can say this. Obviously, Cliff Lee's been on a roll. He's retired everybody since the first two batters in the first inning, and White Sox have done nothing to try and get him out of his rhythm. You know, he's the kind of guy where you need to step out on him, adjust your gloves, go ask for the stick 'em, bunt the ball. If you're on base, act like you're going to steal, but to just conform and make it easy for him is just a terrible thing.
Good rip by Thome. Jimmy has just missed one his first trip, sending Gutierrez back on the track in the deep right center field. And then he hit a little soft ground ball to first.
Before the game became so docile when I first came up here, Hawk, that was one of your pet peeves, is that guys just let pitchers let him off the hook, made it easy for him.
Still is. But with our ball, we don't have a team with that personality.
5-3 with Jamie Carroll, the third baseman, moving over there to the right side.
Our team is a little, it's for the most part a one-dimensional offensive team. But yeah, that's always been one. That's the way I was brought up and taught. The whole key was to upset the pitcher. And that's one reason I used to get a lot of pitchers upset with me. I would do things that would cause them to start thinking a little bit. Change their rhythm, change their routine, stand on top of the plate.
You know, it used to be quite a compliment to be the most hated team in the league.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Now it's like nobody wants to be in that category. Everybody's just trying to get along. There's nothing wrong with doing things to irritate the opponent because the objective is to try and win the game.
Well, we used to. They don't have bench jockeying today. We had bench jockeying. I mean, big time. Big time. We would sit over there as that's back through base hit. That is the first base hit since A.J. singled after Cabrera singled in the first inning. And breaks a streak of 21 in a row retired by Cliff Lee.
Boy, that's a pleasant sight. Makes you want to sing, I believe I can fly. It's inspirational. A base hit. Simple as that.
Yeah, but the bench jockeying back in those days was awesome. I mean, we'd have been all over Cliff Lee, screaming from the dugout, squeeze it, and saying a lot of things that you can't say on the air.
Well, I have no problem with that coming back to the game.
Here's Swisher. Twice he has gone out to his counterpart, Sizemore. And believe it or not, there was an occasional player like a fourth or a fifth outfielder. That was his job, is to lead the bench jockeying during that particular game.
You know, it would be a great ringleader for the White Sox in that category. Juan Uribe.
No.
No. You know, start yelling and making the opponent laugh.
0-2 the count to Swisher.
Hey, look at him. Just automatically, if he got their attention, they'd be entertained and distracted and start laughing.
There's a little flare in the right field. 2 down. Well, you would be shocked at some of the exchanges that went on between hitters and pitchers and catchers. And some of it was comical, some of it was not. I have seen the great Al Kaline, the great, Hall of Famer. When he would get knocked down, he would get up and he would look at that pitcher, and the exchange that you could hear was unmerciful. And then if he threw him a strike the next pitch, he was probably going to take him in the upper deck.
Well, I was fortunate enough to break into professional baseball and in first year in the big leagues, big league camp, be around players that played in the early 70s, which that was still part of the game. So I saw it. There was so much yelling and screaming and name calling and trying to rattle the opponent. It was amazing.
And forget about stealing signs. Everybody in the league stole signs.
Yes. And there's another part of the paranoia of the game that's now become a nice secure little blanket for everybody. They don't worry as that's foul. They don't worry about that anymore. Pitcher just looks in and gets his signs, not thinking that somebody's going to pass anything along.
Well, there are a couple clubs that do, but there's one in the American League, and then there's a couple in the National League.
Well, just the specter that a pitcher might have to worry about it with somebody on second base is another part of the game that you should use to your advantage if you're an opponent. Unfortunately, not many teams do.
Strikes him out. We do pick up our third hit, first since the first inning, but it is still 4-0 Indian.
Time right now to have a look at the Dodge drives of the game. Look at this. Base hit by Orlando Cabrera. A.J. Pierzynski. And Paul Konerko. You add all that up, that makes one heck of a drive. That'd be a triple in a different universe. That is the Dodge drives of the game. 3 singles. That's all the Sox have because Cliff Lee's retired. Well, a lot of guys. You see, and Shopik, double an RBI, run score. Clayton Richard, 4+ innings, 6 hits, 3 runs. 3 runs earned. Gave up a total of 4. As you see, Adam Russell is on for the 20th time. A 4-0 record, a 4.63 Ernie.
Ryan Garco 1 for 3 takes ball 1. Cliff Lee has just put a clinic on here in quest of his 20th victory of the season. There's a base hit. No, look at the play. The throw off the mark, so that'll be a base hit. Good effort. That last outstretched effort by Cabrera.
Yes, this is very similar to what we saw. Nice job, but you'd love to complete the play if you could, but very similar. We saw the throw earlier from Carlos Quentin in left field, tried to hit the target going that direction at second base, and the same thing. It pulled the second baseman off. It's just natural and very difficult to throw back against the grain accurately.
So here's the DH, Chu. He's 2 for 3. That ball hammered into the gap. He's 3 for 4. That's off the bottom of the fence. Wow.
Well, he's absolutely locked in right now. It's pretty simple. Again, pitchers need to know who the hottest hitters in the lineup are, if they're going up, down with the batting average, if they've just maintained what they've been doing, and Chu is on fire. You throw him anything, as you see, he was trying to lift that and go deep the other way. He let it get back to home plate, and he was trying to lift it up in the air and just hit it on the line instead.
Franklin Gutierrez has struck out, doubled, scored, and walked. Cabrera, Ramirez halfway. Corners in close. Outfield, straight up, about equidistant. 4-9-0 for them, 0-3-1 for us.
Because of the call-ups, the additions to the rosters for the White Sox today. There are 9 pitchers down in that bullpen available.
And the count 2-0. Bottom of the 8th in Boston, 6-4 Red Sox leading Baltimore. Good pitching on the fist, especially on the 2-0 count.
So many pitchers like to do that. And in today's baseball, it seems to work very effectively against a lot of guys. A hitter's count, they're looking for a fastball, and you throw it right at their strength, and they truly aren't ready for it. They're thinking that the pitcher's going to try and make a nasty, wicked pitch on them. They're not looking in their strength.
And the count now evens at 2.
And little at-bats like this for Franklin Gutierrez are important for him to make an impression on his manager. It's a 4-0 game, and he'd like to see his young outfielder get the job done and get a run in.
Little tardy on that breaking ball.
And experience in baseball, irreplaceable. And these younger players, they've got to gain it. And the quicker, the better for them in their careers.
Ouch. You could hear that up here. Wow. But that will load him up.
No getting away from that one. That was hunting him down, had a little movement on it. He's got 2 strikes. He's trying to stay in there on the pitch, right in the small of the back.
So Sox packed with Indians. Nobody out. And here is the catcher, Kelly Shopik, who was 1 for 2 with an RBI double, a run scored, and a sacrifice bunt. Now the infield is in. It's the outside corner with a breaking ball. 0-1 the count to Shopik. Another one. And very quickly 0-2.
At first breaking ball strike, Shopik might have thought, well, that was an accident. But then when it happens twice, you have to go, okay, wait a minute. He just nailed a guy in the middle of the back. Now he's acing me with curveballs. Time to get ready to hit.
He gone. Why change? 1 out.
That's one of those tip your caps.
Hey, he got a great pitch hit the second one.
I don't think he truly believed he could throw that curveball even close to home plate for a strike 3 straight pitches.
Now here's Cabrera. Asdrubal, he's 1 for 3. At an RBI double in the 4th. Up to this inning, they have stranded 6. We have stranded 2. That'll get the job done. It is 5-0.
Little teammate information from Garco to Carroll of the on-deck area before Carroll has an opportunity to hit, possibly against the big right-hander.
Sizemore takes first pitch strike. Grady is 0 for 4, but he has scored a run. Back in the third inning, leading off, hit a little dribbler between first and home, or the play mound, I should say. Clayton Richard came in, got it, and there's another strike, and didn't even come close to getting in the vicinity on the throw to Konerko. Two-base throwing error, and he came around to score. Count hangs at 0-2. Schedule hitters for our guys in the ninth are Creedy, Cabrera, and Pierzynski. That's into left field. That's a can of corn. So we will go to the ninth. We trail it by 5 against the guy trying to win his 20th victory of the season.
USA presents Winter Jersey Wednesdays. There's one Winter Jersey Wednesday left. That's September 10th when the Blue Jays are in town. Get out to the ballpark. Take your chances.
Here we go. Joe Creedy takes first pitch strike. Now the count. We have seen so many 0-1, 0-2 counts tonight against our hitters. That's the reason we don't have any runs. We only got 3 hits.
They're going to win you a lot of games if you can pitch like that.
At one time, he retired 23 of 26. The only 2 guys that got on were the first 2 hitters he faced in the first inning. Base hit by Cabrera, base hit by Pierzynski. And then in the top of the 8th inning with 1 out, Konerko a base hit. Everybody else was set down.
This is about as effortless as I've seen a guy go out and completely dominate a team.
There's a shot. Yeah, this has certainly been one of the best pitched games against us all year.
Just to seem like he hasn't even broke a sweat out there. It's just been easy. Now, I've seen overall better performances, but really, those guys were busting their tails out there, and you can see it. Cliff Lee's making it look like it's no big deal. But that is because, as he has stated himself, his focus is just outstanding, and you can see it. There's no question about it.
There's the base hit. So Cabrera now 2 for 4. Can we get 5?
He has made it look so easy throughout this ball game. All of a sudden, a couple of base hits, and they hadn't even thought about getting anybody up in the bullpen, and now immediately, just like that, they are rushing to get things going.
That's popped up in the left. So 1 down.
Jensen Lewis the new closer for the Indians.
Well, as far as Eric Wedge is concerned, this is Cliff Lee's game if he wants it. It's been his season. Cliff Lee will make the decision, as here is Quentin. Carlos is struck out, grounded to second, and popped to center. Looking for it, got it, and underneath it.
A lot of foul balls on good pitches they hit lately for Carlos.
Especially on this road trip. He's hided himself. Boy, you getting streaks like that as a hitter when you've been going good, and all of a sudden you hit a little stretch there that you're getting good pitches to hit and you just can't center them.
Well, I've seen this several times with good players. They get to this point of the year. September's here. They've been working so hard, as Carlos has, and he might just need to go to a ounce lighter bat and he'll catch up to those pitches.
Curveball low.
So many hitters just stick to the same routine, same bat, same everything all year long because it's worked for them. And then all of a sudden they start just missing pitches. They fly out to the warning track, and earlier they were hitting over the fence. Well, look, that's a long wearing season, and you've got to make some adjustments when you get close to the end of it.
Curveball, that's chopped over the Indian dugout. So the count hangs at 1-2 with 1 down, 2 on here in the top of the ninth. 5-0 Cleveland. Should be. And this ball game is over. So Cliff Lee, in terrific fashion, trying for his 20th victory of the season. First time in 34 years a Cleveland pitcher has won 20. And Feisty, he just overmatched us.
As he did. We just mentioned the fact there in the top of the ninth inning, he did not have to labor too hard through this victory this evening. But right there in the ninth inning, it looked like they were about to threaten to break this shutout. And instead, Cliff Lee, against one of the most dangerous hitters in all the American League, made a great pitch and induces the double play. And it just turns out to be one of those great evenings for a man that, well, his year has just gone perfect for him.
And you're looking at our Chevy player of the game, 30-year-old Southpaw Cliff Lee out of Benton, Arkansas, now 20-2 on the season. That's your Chevy player of the game. So for my partner DJ Darren Jackson, for our director Jim Angio, our producer Mike Leary, our associate producer Dave Ross, also for the mayor Mean Joe Groove, and up here in the booth Jeff Bentley and Dave Hammonds. This is the Hawk. So long, everybody.
Hey everybody, Chuck Arfine here. Our post-game show tonight sponsored by Cliff Lee. The man was incredible tonight. He's off to the best start in the majors since 2001 when Roger Clemens started 20-1. Bill Melton is with me. We're going to break this down on a White Sox post-game live, which is coming up next.